Okay, we're going to dive into the APIs now, A to Z. So I just kind of glossed over. We're really going to get into them, and I'm going to walk you through all the methods and events. This is where it gets fun, so hold on. And then in about 20 or so minutes, we'll get into the code samples. So I'm going to try and do this without taking any breaths. First, we're going to look at the calling. And let me show you, those who haven't seen, I'm going to get into the documentation here. This is what the docs look like online, the AS docs I was talking about, and you can dig in here. Right now, all the methods are accessed through the Ribbit request class. So here are all the methods. And you can see there's a lot. There's about 40 of them. And then the events, about 20 of those. And while it's pretty easy to figure out what's for messaging, what's for calling, what's for contacts, what I like to do is break it down. So what I do is I go into the AS docs, and this is very informal. This is just for the presentation today and from March and from the fall and winter whenever we do this again. As the API grows, so does this doc. I really like to go into the AS docs and sort of extract that stuff directly related to calling. So the methods here related to calling, answer call, which of course allows you to answer an incoming call, and that will come with it a call object. So the server, the SWIC will actually generate a call object based on the server information and tell you, with the incoming call, here's the incoming call, and then when you want to answer that call, you pass back that call object of what you're calling. And the reason we're doing that is we're setting this up to handle conferencing and hold and such. So if you have somebody on the call, that's one call object. If you're receiving someone else, like call waiting, you maybe want to put the first call on hold and send an answer call method. So that's why we did that way. It doesn't sound as complicated. It's not as complicated as it sounds. It's pretty cool. It's pretty easy to do. Call talk volume, there's two, number 13 and number 37, basically allow you to toggle the volume of the microphone object. Because it's not streaming, I mean it is streaming, but it's not using sort of a protocol that supports actually setting the volume on the server side. We actually leave it up to you to control that on the client side. And kind of one of the reasons we do that is every system sort of has a unique microphone quality. We've noticed on some systems like Sony laptops, the microphone quality is really amazing. It's like stereo, it's incredible. And then on the MacBook Air, it's very tinny. So, it's best to control it on the client side, let the user on their end sort of control volume. And we've seen some cool applications using these volume controls where you can actually put like little equalizers or little, like the spectrum. Matter of fact, one of the examples that we distribute has that included in it. So it gets you going with that. Hang up, obviously, I'm in a call. I want to hang up on that person. I'm all done. I pass back the call object of the active call. Ignore call, I'm receiving an incoming call event. I recognize the number, don't want to talk to that person, or I'm busy. Ignore it, we'll send them to the voicemail. And then of course, what happens then is they leave a voicemail, my application gets a new voicemail event, and then I go to my messages and I can see what that person was calling me about. It's pretty cool. I wish we could do that on our regular phones. Lookup caller, when that call comes in, you get the number, but there's a special method in here that allows you to pass the number back into the server and pull your contact information for that phone number should you have that person stored. So one of the cool things we see with that combination is, here's the incoming call, I take that number, look up the caller, and then I can, in your application, show the photo of the person calling. Make call, obviously. That's the main one. I pass a number, but you see how it's a string? That's because if the person has a Ribbit account, you don't need to use the phone number. You can actually use their Ribbit username, which is often an email. and our system then correlates that to their number. It's pretty cool, but most often you'll be using a phone number. So when I was calling Walgreens and pizza places that weren't open before, I was calling Make Call in my application. Send DTMF. Does anyone know what DTMF is? DTMF, you know when you're calling movie phone and it says press 1 for this, press 2? That actually allows you to communicate with the system and pass numbers while you're in the call. So it's pretty cool to do. And then, of course, set call talk volume. The methods around call control, call connected, and that's when you've actually established a call with the server and you're in a call. And that's good to do because like I've noticed the flow, and when I say flow, I'm referring to like what the client does when it goes from, you know, you're dialing on the keypad to you're receiving a message. There's different views. One of the reasons we did the components is so those views are already built for you. Those user flows are already established. So call connected, once you would receive that event, you could actually switch to view, like minimize the keypad and go into some call duration, you know, the timer that shows up on your phone. Call disconnected, of course, finally tells you that the call's over. Caller found, that's an event. Remember how I said most methods and events are sort of send response? When I call lookup caller on the method against the server, I'm going to get the caller found back, and that's going to contain the information that I was looking for.